All right, so I actually found out who the company is that makes the filter. So in conjunction with this video, I'll hopefully be sending this video off to the company that actually made this filter, or maybe even made the whole tank itself. So the company that made it is IPA. Right here, as you can tell, is directly on the front of the filter. So if you didn't watch my original video, I'll have it linked in the description below. But if you did, you'll remember me complaining about this filter right here and showing how overpowering this filter is. Now, when I got this fish tank, like I said in the original video, I got this fish tank specifically for my beta. Here, as you can tell, here he is. So like I said, the filter here is too powerful. So I had to go in here, I had to completely modify this thing so it can actually run at a lower speed and whatnot. So what I had to do is I had to add two sponges or I had to cut one of these little things apart. These are those little hairband things you can get over at your local dollar store. And I bought a pack of these, and of course I did wash it out, of course. So there is that. So I had to cut it. So I had to cut one up. I had to put one in the front to do the power that this filter has. And then I had to actually pop off the top. Thank goodness they had a diagram of how this filter works. And then I put another sponge filter right here in front of this. But as you can tell right here, this is the output hole. Now I know I can probably somehow modify this output hole and make it smaller, but then that will constrict the actual filter, the actual thing. So this right here is the intake hole. Now I'm pretty sure if I actually make a smaller, like a smaller intake hole for this thing, it will definitely work better, or at least not put as much flow in. So let me put this guy back together. Boom. The little cord thing fell off again, which is no surprise. I mean, if it wasn't for the fact this filter that this tank came with is just too powerful, I would love it. I mean, I love how compact this filter is. That's one of the nice things about this filter system. It's very compact. But then again, there's no adjustable flow rate, which I personally want them to do. Is when they redesign this fish tank, is to add an adjustable flow rate nozzle to this filter system. Now, of course, if you had to pop the filter system apart to get to it, that's fine with me. I mean, I like taking stuff apart and whatnot, so for me that'll be just fine. But I don't know how it'll be for anyone else that's looking into this tank. But like I said, I went into this tank thinking it would be perfect for my beta. But then when I got home, lo and behold, I found out that the filter system this thing came with is way too powerful. So practically I had to cut it off for practically a whole 2 days, and then just run it today just to help keep the water from getting too cloudy. So give me a little bit and let me rebuild this thing, and then I'll put it into the tank and show you how much I've lessened the actual amount of flow that this filter produces. I also kind of wish this clip system would actually stay, but then again, that's why I got the rubber band. So all I gotta do is just go put the rubber band in here, go like so, boom. Now this thing will never fall off again unless I remove the rubber band. All right, my little beta, time to put your filter back in. Like I said, I love how compact this filter is. Okay, other than it being a little off, but it'll still do what I want to do. Give me a second. Let me make sure all the sponge is wet so it'll work. All right, now time to plug it in. Now with the modifications I've done, I could even actually add that little shroud piece right here to really lessen the actual flow rate. Now as you can tell, when he gets close to the filter, unlike last time, he was constantly struggling. As you can tell, now he can swim without a problem in the world. But I had to completely modify and completely restrict the flow system that this tank has. So I mean, in the end, it's now working, but it's heavily restricted. Now, granted, it's still going to do its job because it's got multiple multiple filters in it now. I think he's struggling a little bit right here, but I'm not sure because I see his fins rippling, so it is still a little, so there is still a little bit of current, but nothing like it was. Yeah, there's a little bit of current going out here and here. Mostly right here is where the current's strongest. So I'm going to have to modify this thing a little bit more so it'll be just right for him. Yeah, current's still a little rough down here, so other than that, it's a million times better now than originally. But to the company that made this, when you go to redesign this thing, if you somehow do that, please make it so you can modify the outflow rate of this filter because it is way too powerful for betas. And I think right now it's actually better than, I think he's now actually a lot more happier now since I actually modified it. Now, of course, he's actually spurting a little bit because every time I had this thing turned on, he will constantly have to spurt. So he's having to relearn that he doesn't have to spurt like he used to. But then again, I had to completely modify this thing so it could work. Now, before I close out, like I said, I do want to rebuy this thing, but not with this filter system as is. So with that said, is there any filter system I can get for a 2.5 gallon tank that can work for betas to where it can be a very low flow rate? I mean, for instance, the filter system in this tank right here, which is a 1.5 gallon, is powered by an air pump, so I'm capable of adjusting it. But I don't want to use this method because the air pumps are very, very noisy, and I had to go in there and I had to practically suffocate the air pump so it'll make a very low hum. Because if you can, I don't know if you can hear it in this video, but the air pump is underneath this piece of wood, wrapped in a heap ton of foam, so it'll make a nice low hum. So, in conclusion, to the company that made this filter, API, please rebuild this filter with an adjustable flow rate. Also, I do want to thank them for making this. My Beta Mesa, which is in this tank right here, he was not doing so good, and now he's getting a lot more better. Now he's healing up. He's doing just fine. He's being a lot more active, and his fins are healing up. Oh yeah, and also, I did get one more little beta. This little female beta right here. She's gonna go into this tank right here for a holding tank. I do plan on moving her to the 1.5 gallon when I get myself a 5 gallon tank for him. But like I said, please API, if you do somehow watch this video, please redo this filter so you can have an adjustable flow rate. It is just way too powerful for betas, especially considering on the box this tank has. It says it's perfect for betas. It's definitely not with this filter system it has. I have and whatnot, so hopefully you guys will be willing to redo this filter system and actually have a adjustable flow rate where it can be really super low like it is right now, to where it can still filter the water, but also to where it won't be too stressful for my beta or anyone else's beta that they decide to get this tank for.